My name is Alicia LeVasseur, and I've done my PowerPoint on A Simple Life. Gentle and simple folk in the South, the bride comes to yellow sky. Poor little Stephen Girard, I never got rich in the pedestrian. There are two roads in life, simple or complicated. A person that is satisfied with their wealth and station walks the simple road of life. A person that is not satisfied with their wealth or station walks the complicated road of life. In many stories, people who lived simple lives were the happiest people on earth. Gentle and simple folk in the South. In this story, the father of the narrator was a carpenter. The family grew all the food they ate and made all their clothes. The only things that they had to buy were shoes, hats, and sugar when needed. The family's only ambition was to teach their children to read, write, and quote the Bible, and to earn a living as they had. This story describes a family that chose the simple road of life. This family had a simple life because they never sought for anything beyond their station. They held high their beliefs in honesty, character, and wholesomeness, and they lived above the reproach of the world. The bride comes to yellow sky. This story is about a man named Jack Potter that travels to San Antonio to find a wife. On the return trip to Yellow Sky, upper-class individuals bullied the newlyweds because they were simple folk. However, in Yellow Sky, Mr. Potter was a very respected man. He was the town's marshal. As they neared the small town, Mr. Potter was worried about what the townspeople would think about him taking a bride. Therefore, when the train stopped, he whisked his bride down the street to his home. This story is about a simple man that takes a bride back to his hometown. Mr. Potter had a simple life because he and his wife walked home from the train station. He was the town's marshal, and he lived in an adobe house. Poor little Stephen Girard. This story is about a boy that was told a story by his uncle. The story was about a young and poor little boy in Philadelphia. The little boy asked a bank man if he would like to have a son. The bank man took the little boy in and made him his partner. The little boy grew up and married the bank man's daughter. The boy who heard this story wanted to be the son of a bank man. So he went to the bank and asked a bank man if he could be his son. However, this bank man did not want a son and told the boy if he caught him there again, he would be in trouble. This story is about a boy that had a simple life, but he wanted a complicated life. This boy had a simple life because he spent 6 weeks picking up pens so the bank man would notice him, and he wanted to be the bank man's partner and marry his daughter. I never got rich. A young man traveled from Russia to Chicago in 1870. The young man was unskilled in a trade, so he began to peddle in the streets of Chicago. After a fire wiped out most of Chicago, the young man started traveling the countryside to peddle his goods. The young man got married and had 6 children. Then his father and the wife's parents came to live with them. After the death of his sister, her children came to live with them. The young man never became rich like many peddlers. However, the peddler and his wife felt they had made a good life for their family. This story is about a young man or a young peddler that had a simple life. This peddler had a simple life because he peddled for 50 years. He had a wife, 6 children, 3 parents, and his sister's children to provide for. He and his wife valued the education of their children over trying to make more money. The pedestrian. A man named Mr. Mead loved to walk. He would walk for hours and return home about midnight. The year is 2053 AD, and no one walks anymore. Mr. Mead walked alone for years without ever meeting one person on the street. Everyone was tucked away safely in his or her home watching TV. One night, as Mr. Mead walked down the street, a police car stopped him. The car took Mr. Mead to a mental hospital because he liked to walk. The story is about an old man who liked to walk. Mr. Mead had a simple life because he liked to walk. He did not have a TV in his home. He is a writer. In each of these stories, the gentle and simple folk in the South, the bride comes to Yellow Sky, poor little Stephen Girard, I never got rich, and the pedestrian, the characters lived simple lives. Some characters wanted more out of life, and some were content with the life they lived. In the end, we have to decide what makes us happy, the simple road of life or the complicated road of life.